Hello to all of our BPTV fans, Facebook fans, and YouTube fans. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm honored and blessed to be doing my 19th show with Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint.
Welcome. If you've been with us before, thank you for coming back. We are here at Johno's Art Studio in Pittsburgh in the South Side Slopes. We are here painting. I designed this for our special guest, Mark Ferrari, Pittsburgh singer, songwriter, and he's going to play a song for us. Mark, welcome, and what are you going to play for us today?
The song I'm going to do, it's my newest song. It's called On the Run.
Okay.
Nice. But
right.
Aren't you a teacher in Bethel Park?
I am a teacher too. I teach health and phys ed at Neil Armstrong Middle School, but I'm a musician on
I've
the
heard
side.
about you, and I've seen you on the BPTV shows, especially the latest with Mayor Jack Allen.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it was a great show. It was a good
so
time.
We're going to grab the guitar. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
let's do
good.
it.
All right.
There's a light in her eyes, makes me a believer of faith. It's wild and blind. She got me talking to a preacher. She's my ride or die. She's my natural high. She's a midnight drive with her hair up Saturday night. Oh, 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 she's cut like a diamond, she shines like a star. She's in my heart no matter where we are. She burns like a fire, though she's cold in the sun. We're on the verge, we're on the run. There's a place above the sky. I go to heaven when I see her. She's a song I sing 1,000 times. I'm gonna shout it to the bleachers. She's my ride or die. She's my spiritual high. She's a midnight drive when you're lost in the heat of the night. Oh, 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 she's cut like a diamond, she shines like a star. She's in my heart no matter where we are. She burns like a fire, though she's cold in the sun. We're on the verge, we were on the run. 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 She's my ride or die. She's my perfect crime. She's my alibi. Whoa, whoa, her name is like a lullaby. It echoes through my soul. It echoes through the night. Oh. She's cut like a diamond, she shines like a star. She's in my heart no matter where we are. She burns like a fire, though she's cold in the sun. We're on the verge, we're on the run. We were 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 on the run.
Amazing. So, all right. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have you. We're going to see you paint today, right?
I can't wait.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm honored to have you on. I've seen a few shows of yours, and I heard you're a teacher in Bethel Park.
I am. I teach at Neil Armstrong Middle School.
I
5-6
understand.
middle school.
What
yeah.
do you teach?
I teach health and phys ed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you look in great shape, brother.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying.
Can you hold a brush like me?
Well, he's going to today.
I hope so, yeah.
All
I
right.
can still do it.
Just trying to check.
All
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Now we'll listen to Maria.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right, we're going to get started. So if you look at the image here, it kind of looks like a guitar, right? It's the
Oh.
reflection, so that's what we're going to paint. And we're going to paint more wet on wet, and you'll see what that means. And we are also using acrylics. We are using 11 by 14 board. You can use whatever you want. I also have a 10-minute tutorial that I make for each episode that you can go in and learn how to draw the design if you need help with that. Okay? So you could also do this one other way. You can paint your background, your canvas, all of the colors, and then do the guitar on top. But for time's sake and all, instead of waiting for all the paint to dry, we're just going to do this. So we are using red, yellow, orange. This is ultramarine blue. You could use any blue, black, and white. Okay? So this is where we get started.
All right.
So we are going to
Thank you, Pickle.
Yes, thank you, Pickle. My little Heinz Pickle. Got to represent Pickle. Let's see. We're going to take the large 1-inch brush. All right? And we usually wet the brush and then take the extra water off. Just dab it on your paper towel like that. Now, when I said we are painting wet on wet, we are mixing the paint right on the canvas. We're not even using we do
Whoa.
have a plate also to mix the colors, but we may not even need that.
Maria, this is more advanced
Well,
for me.
this
Thank
is,
you.
and it's also, I'm pretty much a very impatient person, except for maybe with art, but I do paint really fast too, because I don't know, it's just
We've
what I do.
noticed, and I have too.
Yeah. So we are going to start. So we're going to start with, if you could see, the lightest. And this is another reason why I do this. So when I paint murals and everything too, so you're always under time constraints. So what's the quickest, easiest way to do things? So you start with the lightest color. You don't even have to clean your brush. You just go from the light to then the next similar color, next. So we're going to start with the white, and then that'll mix with the yellow. That'll make the light yellow, then the gold, and then the orange. And so we're just going to do all this kind of like, just blend it all on the canvas, okay? So, but again, you don't have to make it look like mine. Do your thing. If your brush strokes want to go this way or whatever, you just do your thing,
Here's
okay?
my tip. Just
Yeah.
look at that
Yeah.
picture there, and
Yeah.
I'll give you the guidance.
But
And
it-
she
but-
gives you great tips
Right,
on putting
but-
the paint on.
But
Okay.
don't worry about making that same pattern. So you're going to see.
Okay.
So we're going to go into the white. Just generous amount of white. And right around here in this smaller section of the trees, that's pretty much like what we have where the sun. So just kind of like laying the brush. I'm laying it sideways here.
For us
it's,
lay people, that'd be above the line that's there.
well, it's
below.
above and below because
Okay.
there's the reflection.
Just wanted to
So
get that.
you don't have to worry about making it look round. We're just getting that color. We can round it out later. Okay, so now we're going to still go into, I'm going to put a corner of my brush in the white like that. We're going to double load our brush and then flip it over and put the other corner in yellow. So we have two colors on our brush, and then they're going to mix and they're going to make a lighter yellow. So we're just going to come in like this and just paint. And you can go over it. You'll still see the design through. You can go over it. And you can, like I said, I traced that with a graphite. And you can still see it. And this way your brush strokes are good. From here, you're just going to do your thing.
We're going over the whole...
Yes, you can see, because you can
It's
still see it.
confusing, but
You
just
can see
follow it.
through it, because you
Okay.
want this behind those trees.
Yeah.
Now, you're just going to do whatever you want. Now watch, I'm going to dip into the yellow. I'm going to throw it on like this. I'm just going like this, you see? And I'll dip, and I'm going to go into some orange, and I'm going to overlap where the orange and the yellow come, and I'm just kind of like cleaning off your brush, right? And then you can blend it out. You can add wherever you're transitioning from one color to the next. You just use that similar color. Now I feel like that orange was really strong. I put a lot on, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow down here. Why, you could just go back in. But if, say you want your clouds, you want them to be like this, you can go like this. Or if you want your brush strokes to be more wispy, no right or wrong.
Am I
Just-
double dipping anything else?
So
now?
at this point, I would just go from the yellow into the orange.
Okay.
Little bit of orange, it's pretty strong.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
mine was strong. I
and
went heavy-handed.
And see, even like that right there, I kind of like, I'm just leaving that blob there. I like it, right? So just go from yellow to orange, and then at the top, we want it a little bit bolder with this red, because the sky is typically brighter at the horizon, whether it's a sunrise or sunset, because that's where the sun is. So that's why we have the bolder, richer color. But you could see how fast this is. But
Yeah.
like I said, you know, it doesn't have to be straight brush strokes. Like if you do something where you're even, this is more like a cross hatch technique where you're flipping the brush, you're kind of clean off the brush, and just like move the paint around. It just makes it more interesting. It looks like a wispy, like a sky, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like you might need a little more paint to
Okay.
keep it moving.
In white anymore or no?
Whatever. I would say yellow, maybe put some yellow
in?
with it.
Okay.
But when you get this drier, draggy look,
Yeah.
you just need more paint.
Okay.
Yeah, you can add a touch of water if you want, but if you add too much, it'll start to puddle up on the canvas. And this canvas has a lot of texture, which is why you have to add some more paint. So at this point, I mean, you could see how quick you're just blending right on the canvas. That looks great.
You sure?
So just
Am I dabbing ever, or am I just kind of?
just keep grabbing the paint.
Okay.
Yeah, see how Alan's just blobbing it on.
Okay.
And just, what I would do is mix these two a little more.
With-
So maybe at this point I would rinse your brush,
Okay.
just because there's a lot of orange on there, and then take that extra water off, and then go back into the yellow.
Okay.
And then put that yellow,
Like that?
put that yellow into the yellow and then push it up into the orange. Yeah, there you go. See, now it's transitioning.
Yes.
See how it's blending?
Yeah, it's more of a
And then
fade.
I like the brush strokes too. Like this, if you do this, it makes like wispy clouds. If you do little curvy shapes, it looks like the little clouds. You can also.
Hey, you're getting it.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it looks great.
Yeah,
Just like
that
do your
is.
thing, because there is
I
no.
just looked over while I was globbing.
No, it looks good, and there's no right or wrong way to do the sky, right? It's never the same. You can also, if you do wanted some puffy clouds, you could do, say, if I put the brush, I put white on my brush, and if I put it this way and just kind of pounce it like that and move it around,
That's how you
can
get
see
clouds.
how there's some little
Okay.
clouds in there. But just,
man.
you don't even have to do that. Just I kind of like where it looks like it's maybe a little wind blowing, wispy, I don't know. Just
Yeah.
play with it till it feels good to you. You know, you
Yeah.
like it. Yep. And then where they connect the colors, the transition, that's where you want to blend them.
Blend more,
And then
okay.
so to blend,
Okay.
now that orange, since it's strong, so then to blend them, I just add the yellow back. You know,
Okay.
so whichever color's next to it,
Yes.
you add that color.
Okay.
And then you can add the red at the top. And then as it dries, like it dries really quickly. As it dries, you can always add another layer. You can look at it with acrylics. You can go back in a month from now and add to it if you want. But
Yeah.
this, this doesn't look like my other one, but that's okay. Like I said, just do your own thing. So
It's like no two paintings are ever the
no,
same.
just like no
mine
two
won't be
skies.
like that.
No. So what sense?
Guarantee.
Right. So you just keep working and blending. Yeah. See, like wherever you see the brush shape,
to-
that's where you want to blend it. So I'd say,
Okay.
then use the
I'll get more
yellow
yellow.
again.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
and
with
maybe
you.
take some of that orange off, like clean the brush, because there's the orange will just keep coming off of it.
through. Okay.
But that looks really good. I love that in there too. That looks in that right there. Look how cool that is.
Yeah.
But so we're just gonna keep blending. So let's talk. Let's say.
Okay.
So where do you play your music? You're around Pittsburgh area? or-
Yeah, so I pretty much play all over Pittsburgh.
Okay.
The casinos open up for
Okay.
national acts at
Nice.
Carnegie of Homestead
What's the
Music
biggest
Hall.
group you've played for?
Oh,
To
man.
start?
That's
Well-
where I've seen your name because we go.
Carnegie of Homestead Music Hall?
Yes, and it's one of those places we love it, and
Yeah.
I always look at their schedule, and then I'm like, oh, we
It's a
just
great
missed it. Oh,
venue.
okay, I know.
Yeah, I've been
I love that
But I've
venue.
seen because
Well-
I know I've seen.
And it
I
sounds great.
I
Oh,
recognize.
it does. The best. That's my favorite place to play as far
Those
as
acoustics
is
are
the sound.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and plus you're close to the people too, like.
Yeah, and I grew up, so close to
that's
Homestead, so it's
right.
like
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
being home. So the first time I played there, I opened
nice.
up for Natasha Bedingfield,
Oh, nice.
who was a
yeah.
big pop artist.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
good.
And then the second time I played there, it was my second show with Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh my goodness.
So I played with, I did a show with them there, but that was my
Wow.
second time with them. But the first time I played with Blue Oyster, it was at Vinosky Winery.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
That's a great
How
winery.
good.
Yeah,
what a
it
great
is.
place
Oh,
that
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You're going to some top shelf
So-
places there, bud.
I'll tell you, but Jurgles,
yeah.
that's where I just did a show with Kevin Bacon
Nice.
at Jurgles. That was insane. I did a show
Wow.
with Dennis Quaid.
That's
I mean, I could just
great.
name drop, but my very first opening spot
That's awesome.
when I first started, was for George Jones.
No
It opened up for
way.
George 2 years in a row.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's when it was just all starting.
Yeah.
And from there, that's what just led to everything else.
That's
and
great. See, I have heard your music. I've heard of you. I just didn't put you're that
I've
same
seen
guy.
on
You know what I mean?
BPTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Allen had me on his show.
Nice.
Thanks,
Shout
Jack.
out to the mayor.
Denise had me on her show.
Shout out to my friend Denise.
Yeah,
She's
so
great.
Good people. And Dave, who's always the best camera guy over there.
We might have to
Help
have
me get on
you
this
on one of my Talking Machine shows on a
There you go.
second or fourth Wednesday.
Sure.
I'll have to get your information and we'll try to schedule you.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
That's great. We'll look forward to seeing you live somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm a songwriter, and I'm 3 albums out there, working on a 4th one.
How do they get your albums?
The website is markferrarimusic.com.
Can you spell Ferrari?
Yeah, just like the car, Ferrari.
People need help, so we're
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
so all one word, markferrarimusic.com, and
Nice.
everything's on Apple Music, Amazon
Okay.
Music, Spotify,
Okay.
so
Oh,
it's
cool.
out there. All you
That's
have to do is
great.
type
I
my
will
name in.
definitely. Yep.
So,
I like your music. I like your sound and your style.
Oh, you sound
very
great.
nice. Yeah.
thank you.
I
See, you never
appreciate
know.
you being
Everybody
on the
has
show.
talent, and you don't even know. Until you talk to somebody, right? It's great.
Right.
Oh,
So, and now you're a painter. Oh,
Now
look at
I'm
that.
trying.
That looks like an airplane. Leave that go. Look at that.
oh right here.
I like that. Or I don't know. I like it.
Oh,
See,
well,
he has a style. See, his is more like
Like flary.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flamboyant.
No, you do. And see, that's where if you painted a few more times, like you would realize that you do. Like Alan didn't know that he had a certain style, but he's big, bold strokes. And when we have more detailed things, it's more very modern, cubist, kind of like Picasso-ish. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
he paints.
Wow.
He didn't know that.
Thank
He didn't
you.
know that, right? Until you started
Great.
painting.
I didn't know
Yeah,
anything.
you don't know.
No. That
Do you
looks
do some
really
red up top in the
Yes.
corner?
Yep.
Like a little flare?
Little red.
Do you just do in the corner or you?
It doesn't matter. Yep.
Okay.
Mostly when it's the corner if you're double loading to get the two
okay,
colors,
okay,
and
that
then when you
makes
go
sense.
down onto the can, with
You're
the
getting
brush.
lessons here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. You can put as much in as you want. So,
Oh,
all right, that
fade.
looks good. So you can finish that up, and
Okay.
then we're going to rinse that brush
Okay.
when you're done.
Yeah, I'm
And then, and like this, yeah. And then the only thing I did do in Alan too, just put back in, like I ended up going over some of my white where that sun was.
Okay.
I just took the brush and added a little bit more white and just kind of did a little bit of a circular shape just to
cover that.
just
area.
show that it's there again.
Thanks for that tip. I
Yeah.
went over it with some more white. But
Yeah.
I'll make a little rounded
There you
part
go.
there.
You could even use a smaller brush if you need to also.
Oh, we're mixing it up. All right.
yeah.
All right. So
Is that okay that I
We'll
got
go
a little
half, yeah.
color in there?
Yeah, yeah, and you can always make it whiter if you want whiter, but or not. Just leave it. It's your thing.
Okay.
It's your thing. So also, if you're curious how this design was drawn, I used a piece of paper that I had the design drawn on. I wanted them all the same, and I used graphite paper,
and you see,
which comes on a
look
roll or
how
in
the
sheets.
white you can go over
And
Yeah.
yeah, you
and
just
give that rounded part like she
yeah,
did.
Yeah,
and it just
yeah.
transfers to the graphite paper.
Yeah, I just
or,
experimented. So.
Yeah, or you can use watercolor pencil. Watercolor pencil, if you draw on your canvas with a watercolor pencil, it will melt back into the artwork and it'll disappear. These graphite lines won't unless you cover them really well. But we are covering them with black, so I wasn't worried about that. If we were using a light color for this shape, I wouldn't have used the graphite. All right, so these guys are good with your sky, so we're going to start with the water. So now we're going to do the same thing, but instead of going up, we're coming down and we're using blues. But we still want to, if you look at the painting, that reflection of these colors would mirror in the water, right?
Yeah.
So it still would be brighter, lighter, but it'd be lighter here. You'd probably, you'd have some of that yellow, some of the orange, but not too much. Then we're going into the lighter blue, and then it would be darker. So it's the opposite of how we did this. It's darker at the bottom.
Yeah.
Can we start darker at the bottom and then work up then?
You can, but it's a little trickier because then it's heavier. Well, you know what? Let's do that we can do it both ways. So we'll do it
no,
since
I
we
wonder
did.
just because it'd be simpler for me.
Well, since we did it light to dark, let's go dark to light. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure. So what we'll do, we'll clean our brush off, and
And
let's.
we use the large 1 inch.
Yeah. No, I kind of feel like I want to use a smaller brush
Oh.
because.
I'll leave that in. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a 1/2 inch flat.
I think I used it already.
Yep, that's okay.
Okay.
And the reason we're going to use the smaller one the sky, it didn't matter so much, but I feel like in here, we want to get a little bit more of some shape and definition of like maybe some ripples in the water, and that'll be a little bit easier with this one. So we're gonna wet the brush, dry it off, and we're going into the blue. Now this blue is not as dark as we want it to be, so we're again working wet on wet, and we're mixing on the canvas. So I'm putting some blue down just to get it down there, but I'm also going to take some black because I want it almost like a dark navy color. So you could see if I mix, but the black again is very strong.
Oh, wow.
So I put a little on, I saw that was pretty heavy, so I just smooth blended it out, and now I'll just add blue. I'm rinsing my brush to get some of that black out because it was a little too much. And now I'll just use blue, and you can see, now this is where you would want your brush strokes to be horizontal. They don't have to be straight lines, but like you could even do something like this. See, if I just kind of pick my brush up and set it down, if I do something like this and skip it across the canvas and just fill it in, it kind of gives you that vibe of, you know, water ripples or something. And you could see it's darker down here. And then as we come up, then I'll go into the white. And then you can see now that when I mix the white and the blue, you're getting this tone. If you want a little bit of the more of an aqua tone, you add a tiny bit of yellow, little bit of yellow, because yellow and blue make green, but we don't want green, but we want it to just kind of go a little warmer there. So you could see we're just kind of and sometimes, you know, I'll do it, I don't like it, I go back over it, but you don't have to think about it too much. Just kind of have fun with it, go with the flow, you know.
And the black.
Yeah, I would add the black at the bottom because it's the darkest. How are you doing over there, Alan?
I'm good. I'm adding black.
Yeah. And then same with the sky. You just kind of blend, transition into the other colors. And like I said, sometimes so when you go from dark to light, you usually have to clean your brush more because you have to get that dark paint out of your brush. It's going to keep coming out and be too heavy.
Yeah.
And that's why usually if I go
It
light
makes
to
sense
dark.
to me. Listen to Maria.
Well, if I'm painting a mural that's 20 feet wide and, you know, and I'm using big brushes or rulers, I don't want to have time to stop and clean my brushes, so I work light to dark.
Whoa.
But anyway, with this, it doesn't matter. But you can see now you know how to do both. And then as I come up, and then I want this to be, it's a little brighter here, obviously the sun is there, but it's still reflecting here. So when you get up to this center of the canvas, that's where we're really going to lay on a lot of white. And you can see even though I'm adding a lot of white, there's still a lot of blue in my brush, so it's adding. And now,
so we've got some black and
I would
blue
still
here.
do the blue, and still probably add maybe a little, I would just like really a nice generous amount of blue now.
And go
and
up.
just go, keep
going
going.
up.
And then as you get up into here, add some white. If you like kind of like this coloring, you can add a little bit of yellow.
So blue's like the base.
Yeah, it is, but then.
And then you add.
Right. And water doesn't always look blue, right? It depends on the sky.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're not worried about this being so totally blue because the sky is not blue.
Right.
So, but I wanted just a contrast of it just made for a prettier composition or painting, that's all. So,
Right.
and that's the nice thing about art, just like music, right? You could do whatever you want with it, right? How many notes are there?
12,
Okay.
it depends.
Right.
Sharps and flats,
right.
yeah.
So you have that handful of notes, but look how many songs
You
can
can
come
make.
out of those same. That to me
Exactly.
amazes me with music. I still don't. That's
It's almost infinite.
Yes.
Because you think, well,
Yes.
this has to be, these arrangements
and
had to
right.
be done at some point.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
it's just
And
ongoing.
that's
you
why
know.
music is so fantastic. It's
Now, would it
just
keep doing blue up and through there? Or
yeah,
start
so
some
I would
white?
say maybe add just a little more blue and don't blend it as much so that you kind of want to eliminate the brush. You want to not see the brush shape as much.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, just kind of like lay some paint on there and don't worry about blending it as much. And then go into your white.
Okay.
And I feel like you can just put more paint on the brush. You know, that's where
More
I feel
blue
like
right now? Or
whatever
just-
color you're using.
I've been
I feel
adding
like
white to the
like look how much.
blue.
Look at he got his
real dark.
paint
Yeah.
blobbed on a canvas. Like I blob it on, like just
Yeah.
Just kind of like lay it on there.
But with the
Okay.
lighter
Yeah,
blue,
don't
I'm
be
putting
afraid to
the
add
blue
the.
and then a dab of white
Yeah.
Okay.
like this, and it's making it very
transitions.
Yeah.
And again,
Only
there's.
because she taught me some of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just
It's all you.
And this is
Yeah.
considered wet on wet. We're not putting that one color and letting it dry. We're laying them as they're wet, so they're blending. And yeah, so then you can blend that out. Now, if you feel like if there's a lot of white right
Yeah,
here, if
then-
you feel like you keep going, it's going to add too much white, then just clean off the brush a little
Okay.
and then blend them. No
And then
paint.
no paint,
Yep,
okay.
and then just use it as a blender.
Okay.
Whoops.
Sorry.
My pickle was in your way. All
Watch
right.
that pickle.
There.
Now blend.
That could be a good name for a song. Johno's over there taking pictures. A lot of times we'll say something and he'll be like, "That would be a good name for a song."
Yeah.
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 Could be.
Sometimes it starts with the title.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Okay.
We'll see what
Is
hits
that
you
how
at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Exactly.
Is that how you do, or it just depends, right?
Sometimes you
Okay.
can have a working title, or
Okay.
you just
And then you
kinda-
figure out what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like sometimes as you're writing the song, you notice there's a line you're repeating more.
Okay.
So like this, this could be the title of the
Sure,
song.
right.
Oh, wow.
And then how do you determine the melody or how you're going to?
I'm telling it's like if you ask any songwriter that, it's almost you can't really describe it. You just start. For me, I start playing some random chords.
Yeah.
At a random rhythm.
Okay.
Maybe the feeling you're feeling determines like your rhythm.
Okay.
Is it gonna be ballad? Is it gonna be upbeat?
Yeah.
And then you start kind of just
It just happens.
mumbling sounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then those sounds take shape into words that sound like the sounds. And then that's just a very brief,
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
a little
that's
basic.
And that's
Yeah.
how when I paint, same thing. Sometimes I just throw canvas in front of me. I don't know what I want to paint. I just start, or I'll see something, or I'll see something in my garden, or I'll have
Yeah.
an experience with the deer in my yard, or whatever. And if I get that inspiration, I just start. I shouldn't say can't. I don't like the word can't. I don't like to think too much about my own work. When I'm doing custom work for people, that's different.
Right.
I'm working with a certain concept, subject, whatever. When I do my own work, I don't want to plan it too much. I don't want to draw too much. I just want to paint. So I will
Right.
just grab the colors I'm in the mood to use, and I just start laying it. I might know the subject matter, and it sounds very similar where I just kind of go, and the painting will come out like, wow, I didn't plan on that, but that's really cool.
Right.
So
you kind of let it go where it's good.
yeah,
You don't want to get in front
that
of it
bird
too much.
painting behind you, that was what happened there.
Oh, wow.
I did the background, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to paint a robin on here. I had no
Oh, wow.
intention on
You
doing
weren't even
words.
thinking about doing a
Nope.
bird.
I wasn't even thinking about doing words either. And
Oh,
then I thought,
wow.
you know what? It says, until you spread your wings, you will never know how far you can fly.
Wow.
So I had no intentions on that. But I was in one of those moods. I just wanted to paint and just do my own thing because I don't always get to play in my studio. I'm
Yeah.
doing custom work,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Right, right.
But,
It's good.
just like if you're getting hired to sing, but you're not always singing maybe what you
wanna
want to
do,
sing,
right.
and it's a good thing to get hired and all, but it's just sometimes I just want to do my own thing. So
Right.
so it sounds like a sin, but I'm just always amazed at how songwriters come up. Where does it come from? And like
Yeah.
some of them, you say it comes really quickly, and some of them take longer, right?
Right.
Like,
Some songs come together very fast. Others takes a little more time. You
Yeah.
gotta set it down, come back to it. There are certain situations where like you might have gone through something, or you lost a
Sure.
grandparent and things like that. So
Sure.
specifically, what you want to write about.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow,
that'll
that's
give you the
great.
subject
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
right
like I
there.
think Adele was quoted as saying now she doesn't know if her music will be as good because she was happy. She
yeah.
was happy.
Yeah.
Like things were going well in her life and she was happy.
Yeah.
I've heard other, musicians or songwriters say that because it's like you think about any songwriter, like they're really good stuff. It's a lot of times it's going through hard times, like you
It
said.
is, yeah.
And so that's what motivates or moves you, your emotions or however it works. But
Right.
yeah.
And for me, I need to have a guitar nearby. I don't know when inspiration's gonna
Okay.
Oh, really?
when it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
So I have it hang on the
Yeah.
wall. When I'm not playing, it's good to have it out of the case and on the wall because
Yeah.
that's where,
Yeah.
I'll grab it, and then if it wasn't there, I probably
Sure.
wouldn't have written some of these songs.
Yeah,
Wow,
this looks
what an
really good, by the way.
insight.
Very good.
Probably need
It's
to fade
awesome
more.
water. So what I would say is clean the brush and introduce. Now mine, I'm doing my letter. I don't know if I like it. I might change it. But what I would do is just add some of the sky color, just up in the upper area, wherever you want. Maybe,
yeah,
you know, I feel like mine's a little too light on the edges, but just add some of your sky color. So get
Okay.
into the
yellow
yellow,
again.
white, maybe a little orange. Probably not too much red because it might be too heavy.
Right.
And
A little, like, do a corner of this and a corner of white, or
you
no?
could do it that way, sure.
Is that too much?
Sure, and just kind of, and same brush strokes, but just lay it in. So like mine was getting a little darker, so then I added the lighter color. If it gets lighter, I'm adding the darker.
Okay.
And I'm just same brush strokes, just kind of throw it in. And you can see I left some of that paint heavier here. Kind of looks, again, like the ripples on the water.
Yeah, it looks good.
How's Alan over there?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm listening.
It looks good.
I'm listening and painting.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's such a good outlet. I'm sure this is for
Yeah.
you. That's the same with music. It's just a
Yep.
great outlet.
And everybody goes through tough times in their life. I've gone through quite a few and had losses in my family and everything. And my art got me through it. I
does.
just focus on my art. I go in, my mind is focused on what I'm doing. It's like an awake meditative state in a way.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
I'm awake, I can put music on or a movie or something on next to me and I don't even hear it.
Yeah.
I don't hear it. At 2 hours, a movie will go by, and I'm like, I have to watch it again. I have no idea what happened, and it was right there beside me. But that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
It just-
yeah.
I love it.
So-
Time flies when you're doing that. When you're caught up in it,
Yeah.
you don't even realize how
No.
much.
And people were like,
you're
you need to
enjoying it.
meditate, because I'm always so, like, I can't sit still. But I'm like, I can't meditate. I'm not good at that. But I guess I do somewhat have a way of
might
meditating when
naturally.
I'm awake
Yeah, you might
with my
naturally.
paint, I guess.
Right.
So that's what it seems like to me.
It just comes natural to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if I'm not in my studio, like the most I could ever go without painting is probably like 5 days.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I'm like, oh my gosh,
I
I get
know.
real edgy and I
Right,
get cranky.
cranky.
And I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, I have to go paint. I have to go paint something or make something or glue
Yeah.
something together.
Yeah.
And that, I didn't realize that till I was older, that like, yeah, it's just part of what
Who
I
you
do.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to
it's a
step
coping
away.
mechanism, maybe even, or I
There's
don't know.
times where I'm like, oh God, I just don't even want to think about music for
Exactly.
a
Sure.
couple of days. But
Wow, you say
I'll
that.
say it, but then
You don't
3
do it.
days later or so, I need it. And
Well,
I'm right back at it. It's never
like,
gonna leave me.
So that something that my sister Joni, who's a jeweler, she has jewelry in here too that she made. This is what she tells me all the time because I never stop. I'm always busy. She always says, "Life is like music notes. Without the rest in between, it's just a bunch of noise."
Ooh,
Wow.
So I like that,
that's
right?
really good.
Isn't it
I
good?
like that too.
And she's like, you got to slow down. You got to take breaks. So I'll slow down for a couple hours or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. So, but anyway.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That's so good.
But isn't that that's a nice quote? I
Very
think.
nice quote.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we all have to got to balance. It's all about balance, right?
Right. That's true.
All right. So that looks great.
Uh,
Whatever you're doing, it looks great.
I'm trying.
It looks good.
Yeah,
So
it
that,
does
like
look
I said, the only thing I would do is just like that looks great. Just like that one little brush stroke that's like a
Right here?
just blend that.
That right
yep.
there.
That looks really good. So you have you're very you're more Van
Artistic.
Gogh-ish.
You're very
Okay.
artistic.
Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It looks great. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
teaching me, so
Yeah, it looks good.
We got a good teacher.
yeah.
So now you probably did the same thing, yeah, and that's okay. We pretty much painted over the bottom half of the reflection of our guitar, but it's okay because we can just mimic that shape that we have above. So, because I did it too, but
yeah.
So yeah, it's no biggie. You'll be good. That's good because you'll have to do some freehand work.
We're freewheeling.
So if you're done with your water, and if not, that's fine. But
Yeah.
it looks really good. Looks good,
Thanks.
Alan. It does. See, everybody has their
Yeah,
own
that
thing.
looks good.
All right, so now we're going to
good.
take
We're all different.
we're going to take the
Looks
filbert
great.
brush. Yes. So
Which brush?
Filbert brush. That's the round.
This one.
It's a
Okay.
curve, and you'll see why we're
Filbert.
using filbert. I love that's my favorite brush. Filbert brush because the trees. You can use a different brush too, but I'm liking this filbert. The trees. Now, when we do these, we're basically doing these two little humps, and it's like that the half of the guitar.
Or
but
just look above.
but keep in mind, they're
You'll
You'll get a
trees.
sore neck.
Yeah, but they're trees, so we don't want it to be like perfect. Like we want it to be little,
Shaggy,
and then
but-
you can see I have the bird kind of coming
Yeah.
out of the trees.
You just want it
A
rounded.
little
like-
frayed, like.
Yes, frayed. That's a good word. So I'm going into the black,
Okay.
and what we're going to do is I would say maybe create the outline of the shape just so you know where it is.
With a
So-
little fraying.
Right, but instead of going like this,
As
I'm
Mark
going to
said.
go.
Wow.
I'm just twisting my brush, flipping it,
Okay.
and just kind of just do very irregular edge, but that shape that you already have. And then and we can always like add a couple little pieces to it or something too. And then we'll come around the bottom. And again, the bottom, we don't want that straight across. We just kind of same thing. It can, just like little wispy brush strokes. You can turn, like I said, turn your brush one way, flip it around back and forth, and it gives you different angles. So you could see there's my...
It's like dimension.
Yes, and we can always tweak this. This is just to get our base. So you can see that's it. Yep, that looks really good. And then just fill it in, because this is a silhouette, because the sun is behind it. So you really wouldn't see the texture or the details in the trees because they're in silhouette. If you've ever tried to take a picture on the beach, or you're out somewhere and sun's in front of you and everything, right? They're in shadow. So that's why just fill that in solid. And then what you want to do is mirror the same thing
down below.
Yeah, so I have about a little more than a half an inch here. I'm just going to repeat the same thing. It's a little bit curved though, a little more on the bottom, maybe because of the way the water is flowing. So you just don't want it to be a straight line. So I'm kind of mirroring that about the same distance away from the horizon line. And then same thing, just come back down this way. So I just mirror image that.
And you don't touch it. You got to leave a center there. Okay.
Yeah. So where your horizon line is, come
right
down
about
like about the same distance.
What about there?
I think, well, your horizon line should be in the middle of them.
All right.
So I would come down a little more.
Like in here.
Yeah. So you want like this distance away. So there, because like that's your horizon.
Okay.
And then just come up again, same thing, just kind of mirror, you can look up above and just kind of mirror that. And then this, I would say not necessarily fill it in as heavy with the black, because it's more of a reflection. Right, so I'm just gonna pull, like this is more of a dry brush technique. I just have the extra paint. I'm just going like this and pulling it across, and you can see it's just leaving some of the paint there. I can add a little if I need it, and then I'll even kind of smudge the edges a little bit like this. Again, I have extra paint is off of my brush, and I'm just dry brush like this, just kind of smudging those edges a little bit. And then we're going to do the horizon line. It might be a little bit tricky because you're doing a straight line, but a horizontal line, but it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. But you want to start it only where the trees start, not all the way over. That looks good. You just don't start it over here. It's only going to start here where these guitars are.
That's the tree start?
Right, and then I'm just holding my brush this way, and I'm just doing some little dashes. Okay. So because again, I don't want it to be a perfect straight line. And I'm just coming all the way over. You can even use the tip of the brush, and then all the way to that last little tree. What are these called on a guitar?
Oh, those are your tuning pegs.
Tuning pegs, okay.
Oh, we went that far.
Tuning pegs. So you come over to the end of that tuning peg that's on the far right, and then you would build this line a little thicker.
So where's my horizon line?
So your horizon line would be where mostly your colors, I would say your horizon line is here.
Right. So I'm gonna draw a line there.
Yes. Yep. And then you can just add, like you can go like this, to the tip and hold the brush this way, and just, you can even do little brush strokes like that if you want.
Go right through the white.
Yep. And just come all the way over. And then if it looks a little crooked, you just add more to the top or bottom of where that section maybe went up or down where you didn't want it.
You don't go all the way across.
Just to the end
here.
To this. Yep, right here, where that little one is.
Okay.
And then for this section here, are you okay over there, Alan?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
And then for in the center, between this tree and these guys, we're just going to, I say don't ever do this with your brush, but we're gonna kind of smush our brush. We're taking all that paint off and kind of.
Should I do a little thick?
So thicker right here, because that's like a little section of the island, I guess. You know, and that's also that on the neck of the guitar. You know, gives you that. That looks really good. And then, so I'm going to take that extra paint off, and I just I kind of spread the bristles out on my brush a little because I want a little raggy looking.
Okay.
And the reason why is I want to do these grasses. So I'm taking a little bit of paint and I'm coming on that line and I'm pushing up. See that?
Yeah.
And you're seeing that.
So I clean this?
Yeah, well, just kind
Or
of take
just-
that extra paint off and like kind of like
do
go
that?
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like really get, and like you almost want the
You got it.
bristles to,
It
you want to
worked for
do what
me.
you're not so,
Look
yes.
at what happened
You
with
want to do what
mine.
you're never supposed to do with your brush, is kind of like
I got
mess up the
grass.
bristles.
Oh, you want to
Yeah.
do that though.
And then when you put a little bit of paint on, the bristles are kind of spread apart.
Okay.
And then you come down on the line like that.
Mm-hmm.
You push down and then you pull up, and it just leaves those little
little frames,
Uh-huh.
like
And
chunks.
I'm getting that
it's
effect, yeah.
It's like grasses, and then you do
Mm-hmm.
up and down both sides. Yep. So just lay it. You could even practice on here if you want to see how it feels, like push down, and yeah, that looks good. Like short brush strokes, like really short.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the reflection, so they're maybe a little less on the bottom, maybe a little heavier at the top. Oops, I got really heavy on that one. Whoopsie.
Look, I went a little crazy with mine.
Well, and the nice thing with acrylics too is you can always like go
Paint
back
over.
over, but we kind of like to have fun. We're not that
Yeah.
uptight with our paintings. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's art, you know. You just do
Right.
their thing. So now we have the grasses, and that's starting to define like that the neck, right? It's called the neck
Right.
of the guitar, and then. Well, then we do, what do we call those little things, the buttons? Tuning buttons?
Tuning pegs.
Tuning pegs.
Yeah.
Okay, so now same thing. We have 3 here, and I'm just taking my brush and I'm laying. This is why I like that filbert, because it's giving me that little shape.
Oh, okay.
So we have 3 of those, and then mirror them. Same thing. And make sure you leave the gap between the little island section,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to have some water in between. See this right here? Because you have to have the tree trunks go
Okay.
in there. You got
Okay.
that, Alan?
yeah, I got it.
Okay. So again, that's our reflection. And that's that. And we can always touch up colors on the water if we want to afterwards, but I feel like
What are
mine,
these trees? Yeah, those
yeah,
are the
they're like
trees.
little trees. I feel like mine has to be a little darker right in there. Okay, so that's that. And again,
And then
we're
the bottom.
blocking everything in, and then once we get it all blocked in and done, then we look at it and go, oh, I need a little this here, a little there. You know, so,
Yeah.
and this is fast. This is,
Yeah, it's
you're painting really quickly, so you're doing good. Yep, and then just mirror. So you want to mirror that, and you could even turn the brush this way, like that way, you know,
Oh,
and
okay.
give like the shape of the brush creates it for you too. That's why I like the
Yeah,
filberts.
yeah.
And that's it. And then I'm going to take a little, and I'll wait for you guys to catch up, but we'll take our little liner round brush and just bring some of the tree trunks down. So I'm going to do, well, there's like, I'm going to start here, and they're about, I would say, maybe a ½ an inch apart. Yeah, that looks good.
Not bad.
That looks good. And then you can put that brush in the water,
Put
and
that
we'll
on.
grab this little
Bria,
round
I was
one.
too bold. I lost the tree. I had too much grass.
No, you can still add it. No, you can still
You're
put it
okay.
there.
Could I put it there?
Yeah, yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so you'll grab your little
I just
round
need a
brush.
Little one. And this is making the,
So it-
the
Yeah,
chunks?
yes. So if it's stiff, sometimes there's like a glue in there when they're new. So you
Okay.
can just wet it. And then whenever you're using,
She's a great teacher.
Yeah, very good.
when you use a round brush like this, you keep that little point. If you go like that to load the brush and get that paint in there,
Okay.
and that puts all the bristles back together, because we want that nice little point, because the paint will start to build up in the belly of the bristles, and you
Yeah.
want to keep that little point. So sometimes you just have to rinse it or redo that. And
Okay.
all we're doing is come in. I'm going to start one about an inch in, and then just maybe every ½ inch or so, I'm just doing a little wiggly line. We don't want it to be real straight,
Okay.
because it's just, little tree trunk.
As long as we get 8
Just
eight
down to the
trunks.
horizon.
Now, but the only thing I would say is, though, where the sun is, they have to be a little thinner because there's more light. Now,
Light.
this is not a very technical painting or anything, but there's more light hitting them, so they wouldn't be in silhouette as much.
Right.
And that just kind of helps with the illusion a little bit. So they're a little bit thinner, and then you can get a little bolder. And then if you want to, so when you're painting with this little round brush, if you do this again to get that nice little tip and you don't press very hard, you can get a really, look how tiny
Oh,
you
yeah,
can make
you
that
get
line.
real thin.
And so that I'm going to add just a couple little little branches that almost look like they're coming off of the trunk, just here and there.
Oh, wow.
And then when I have that little brush in my hand, I'm going to come back in and just maybe add a couple little, look at my trees and say, that's too perfect right there. That, you know, I might add just a couple little spots here and there. And then for our little birds, we have some little dots and shapes coming off of the tree, which I'm just going to do just some little tiny little dashes, really small, just like this. And then they'll get bigger and bigger. And to make a bird, I'll do a big one here to show everybody on camera. We're just going to come over, down like a V, go back up. So it's like a V with tails. And that pretty much is an easy little bird.
Nice.
And even if like the V comes together a little closer, that'll create it's just a hint of a bird. That looks really good. And then we'll come out, and I'm just going to do this, our little, that little bird. That's a chubby little bird there. That was a little bit too big.
So you're using just the black still?
Yep, just the black. And then,
you said do
so
like
some little, like, oh, okay, that could be a bird, right? They're just little blobs of paint. And then as they come off, you get your little V. You can see I got over, down, up, and then as they come out, they're going to be bigger.
Okay.
And then,
is that little wispy on the end of my brush going to be?
oh yeah, here now. Here, you can take mine. That is good. Yeah, sometimes you have to have scissors. You have to have scissors with you when you paint and trim off little random hairs.
Just like.
There we go. And you can add as many birds as you want, or no birds, but it's just kind of neat
like
to think that
birds.
they're like I like to
the
think these are
birds,
maybe
too.
crows. They were all roosting. We have the crows around here that roost in our trees. They're so cool.
And they're smart.
Yes, they bring me presents too, because I feed them in the wintertime. When I'm like, what are they gonna eat? Oh my gosh! If there's like,
Well, you
random
feed
thing-
everything known to mankind.
well,
in my opinion,
they
You do well.
come, they find things.
They
you know.
talk about you.
Yeah, but I give them really good, healthy, organic, dry dog food, and I soak it in chicken broth or water, and then I take it out and feed them in the winter. Boy, do they love that. And then every once in a while, I'll find things in my driveway, and there's no way these things were blown in, or it's very private. It's all surrounded by trees. I'll find like a piece of like a red plastic tail light from a car,
Oh, wow.
bottle caps, and it's in the area where I feed them. So I'm like, they say they'll bring you gifts, and they recognize faces and people, and yeah, they're pretty amazing.
You're a great teacher.
Aw,
I
thanks.
know. I told you she is.
I never taught. I mean, I started teaching about 7 years ago, but I have a friend who is a teacher, and I said, I really don't know what to do. He's like, well, just teach what you know, like what you do, right?
Yeah.
So it looks really good. So now I'm just looking to see if I need to add anything on the one that I painted. So the ones that I create, I do those on a computer just for time's sake, because I'm always so busy doing things, and I just do those real quickly on there. But so they tend to look a little different. But on this one, there's a little bit of maybe some purple tones. So I'm going to take some of that blue and a little bit of red, and I'm mixing up like a muddy violet color. I just feel like a little bit of that is pretty with these colors too. See how I'm adding a little bit of that
Purple
color?
and red?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. So on your palette, it's blue and then a little bit of red. So I kind of like that color. So I'm just kind of laying it in. And the reason why
edges.
and in nature, if you look, not that this is a shadow, but in nature, shadows look like a lavender color or a purple. They have a purple hue. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like it looks good with the oranges and I want to lay a little here and try to enhance that round shape. Like if that sun shape is not so round, you want to just maybe put a little more yellow beside it or white, just trying to get it that focal point.
Right here.
Yeah, and yours is great. I would just say maybe add a little bit a little roundness here, and maybe a hint of some color in the water there.
Okay.
Just not all the way, but just
A little
like
roundness of what?
where the sun is.
Okay.
So I feel like I covered up too much of mine, so I feel like I should put in. So I'm going to take, if I take a little bit of white and lay it back in where, I'm not going to make it a solid white, but just like some brush strokes, like that's the reflection. See where that sun
Yeah.
is. And even here, like I feel like I need maybe a little bit of that brighter yellow. So I'm just tweaking a little bit here and there. And even here, like in the reflection, I'll add a little bit of yellow down in here, just so that it creates more of a focal point for where that sun is. And that's, I don't know, I'm just, wherever the brush goes, I just, yeah, you can pull it over, like blend it, like let it just come, blend it out. Yeah, just pull it. And then like I said, just this section over here, just try to get that white more in that little concentrated area. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm taking that little round brush and I'm just with the very tip of it, I'm coming in and I'm putting a tiny bit of, a little bit of a line that might be just some of that light. I feel like mine got a little bit too solid in there, but you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And that's it. Just look at it, see if you need any highlights or shadows anywhere, any little tweaks. But this is a really simple painting. It's not too complicated. It doesn't have to match anything or look like anything particular. It's from our imagination, right? So there's no right or wrong here. Yeah. And even like this, I mean, this is one of those things I could keep playing around with it. You know, you have to know when to stop too, right? Is it like that with music? You go, okay, it's enough.
Yeah,
Quit.
this
no
is
more, no more lines,
like
no more.
Yeah, because you can always change something or the way you sing it or a chord progression. Is this a little better?
Wow.
Yeah, that looks good.
bit.
And then maybe just pull a little, like with the small brush, just like grab that wet that's right there and just pull it in. You know what I mean? Just maybe this one. Just grab
leave it
what
like
you
this?
just painted and pull it into the
In
white.
the white?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Like in
Like
it?
even
Like
like
through it?
horizontal. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just to like break it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And see, like here,
Yeah.
like if the trees look too solid, so then you take the color that's next to the black, like this one. If I take this yellow and I just go like this and add a couple, now you can see it looks like the tree is
Yeah.
not so solid, and that's all. It's just you can go back
little-
in and
yeah.
and if you want to add. See, if this is like this big blob, I don't like that. If I add a couple little things in there, now it looks like there's space between
Yeah.
it because I'm adding that background color.
Okay.
So it's just, it's like
Gives
looking
it
through,
dimension.
yes, and it's like looking through the lens of a camera. You zoom in on one little section. Okay, what does that need? Zoom out. Look at the whole thing.
Do you like dip it in the yellow and then mute it, or just?
I
go
just
straight in?
used the straight, yeah. And well,
Okay.
this I had some orange on my brush too, because this is the orange and the yellow. Whatever color is where you're putting it, just use that.
Okay.
So it's a little more orange there. It's a little lighter, maybe up at the top. And just if you feel like your trees need to be like little
yeah,
rougher
I know
on
what
the
you mean.
edges. If not, that's fine. Then just leave them go. And then I'm doing the same thing. I feel like in the water, I'm just going to add a couple little ripples across my trees. Oops, I just got some water on there. And that's pretty much it. And this is something like you could
is great.
spend, you could spend hours painting something like this, but we just did a little version.
Is that doing? It's kinda
Yeah, that looks good.
Even.
Oh,
this
and your
edge.
tree trunks, you need your tree trunks down here.
Oh.
Oh, so do I. Oh.
I know, I got mine.
Yeah, you
Oh,
I'm
Alan.
more advanced.
Alan. Yeah, we didn't even.
do. I'll go. Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking it feels like it needs something, but I didn't know
Johno,
what.
get a picture.
Thank you, Alan, for the inspiration. All right. Yeah, because I'm like, what am I missing here? My tree trunks, the reflection. Now we go. There we go. So just mirror those.
I
And
can do no more.
This is looking better here.
Yeah, that looks good.
All
So
right, so
add
I'll
your
do the
little
tree
same
trunks
little
now.
round brush. Yep.
This one?
And just with the black.
Okay.
and just add your little tree trunks there. Okay, I think I'm done.
Great.
We're going to stop. We're going to just tweak, finish up, and then we'll be back for the reveal.
All
Okay?
right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were on the run. She's my ride or die. She's my perfect crime. She's my alibi. Whoa, whoa, her name is like a lullaby. It echoes through my soul. It echoes through the night.
So we are back, and we are going to reveal our paintings. These guys did a great job. Musician, and now he's an artist too, painter. There you go.
Thank
Very
you,
good,
Maria.
Mark.
Thank you,
Alan,
Maria. Thank
good job.
you. Thank you, guys.
Good job.
You're a great teacher.
Thank you.
Great job, musician.
Aw. And then we have, so if you have like these little office binder clip with there's one, you have an art kit I'll give you.
Okay.
These are a really easy way to hang these panels
Oh,
too,
okay.
if you want. You can always pop it in a frame or
Yeah.
whatever, but that's an easy way to hang them. So good job. There's our paintings, and let's see what we're going to do. Next episode will be episode 20,
Yes,
Alan?
2-0 coming
So
up.
we are going to paint a lighthouse that I did have the opportunity to visit with my husband Johno down at Hatteras, Cape Hatteras. So we're going to paint the lighthouse. It's a good time, August, right? People are traveling. So we're going to paint that.
Maria, I
Okay.
love
Nice.
lighthouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
That's
going
a
to do
great
that.
pick.
Thanks. Sunset color, sunrise, sunset. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and make sure you follow Mark Ferrari, social media, wherever. Find him in Pittsburgh. We can't wait to see him live, and also, well, we heard him here, which was a treat. So very good. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good job.
Great job.
Thanks.
Great
Thank you
teacher,
for
Alan.
singing
Alan.
and performing. You're welcome.
Anytime,
Yeah.
guys.
All right.
Anytime. We're on the verge. We're on the run. We were on the run.